Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to use the function day of month in PySpark. So this function is used to extract the day of the month as an integer value between 1 to 31 from a given date or timestamp column in the data frame. Both day of month and day functions accept a column of date timestamp or date string or timestamp string data types. The function returns the day of the month as an integer value between 1 and 31. So this in PySpark will be having, so here I will update. This can be, we can use either a day of month or day function. So both are same and both will give you the same output. So day of month or day, and at the same time here date timestamp or date string or timestamp string. Okay, so only difference is if your data frame has a date and timestamp data type already, so we can directly apply this function, either date of month or day function. If we have string type, either date or timestamp, if we have string type, first we need to convert this for date by using to underscore date and for timestamp by using to underscore timestamp to convert a date string to date and a timestamp string to timestamp. So first we'll see for syntax. So day of month and or day. So inside that we need to provide the expression. So date type default format is 4 wise M and D. So that means year, month, date. So timestamp default format is so year, month, date, and hour, minute, second, and millisecond. And what it returns is it returns null in case if the input is a string. So that cannot cannot be cached or date timestamp. So that means if our input either date or timestamp, it is a string type, and if you apply directly this day of month, it will give you return null. So the default format of the Spark timestamp is this one. So for year, month, date, and hour, minute, second, and millisecond. So in our syntax expression, we already discussed like it accepts the column of date or timestamp or string. String is either date or timestamp. So if it is string type, we need to cast it to timestamp, either date or timestamp, we need to cast it. So output type is it returns the day component as an integer value. And what is alternative for day of month is, so you can also use the shorter function name as day. So which is an alias for day of month. So now we'll see some sample syntax here. Suppose I have my sample data frame like this. So I have string type. So here I'm using spark.create data frame, and inside that I'm passing the date and my column name is dt. So once you create by this, you will get as date string. And first I'm trying to use day of month. So this we need to import from PySpark.SQL.functions day of month function. And after importing, so on top of this data frame, I'm using df.select, and here I'm using day of month of dt. So that means function is day of month, and inside that I'm passing this column. So since I'm using select, I'm using alias here. And so this is one way of doing this day of month. And if you are using day, so from PySpark.SQL.functions, we need to import day function and df.select. So here code is same, only difference is instead of day of month, we need to pass the day. And if you apply this one, what will get output is day of month is 8. So in this, Year is 2015, month is 04, and day is 08. So that 8 will get here, day of month. So next, one more sample example is, suppose I have one date like this. So if you apply this function, day of month, what we'll get is 31. So in this day is 31, that 31 will get. And in similar way, from this particular date, we'll get 8 as the day. So that is this one. And if we have timestamp input, so from this, what is the day? 29. So that will get here. So now we'll go to some scenarios. So first I'm importing the required functions. So mainly day of month, and I'll try to import a day also here. Okay, and whenever you have a string type, so for converting, we have to use to underscore date. If you have timestamp string, then we have to use this to underscore timestamp. And this day of month we already imported here. And if you want to change the format, you can use this date underscore format. So my first scenario is using day of month with a string date column. If you see initially, so our input columns either date or timestamp, or date string or timestamp string. So four different types. So here my first scenario is to handle string date. So string date means, so suppose if you see my column is date is, but values it looking like date, but if you see data type is string. If you see a string, so that's we're calling as string date. So here first I'm creating the sample data frame by using spark.create data frame. So here I'm passing my data. So this list of tuples, and each date value I'm passing here. And I have single column, that is date. And if you run this one, so I will get with a single column, that is date. And these are all the values I passed, and my data type is string. So now what we need to do is, so on top of this sample data frame, I'm using select statement. And first I'm picking this input column, that is date. And on top of that, I'm using this function. So first what I'm doing is, first I'm printing the type, data type I'm printing here. So for that, so we have function like type of. So type of, and inside that we need to pass the column name. And I'm giving alias here. So my alias name is type. So that is column name. And whatever this type of is here, so currently it is not available in PySpark function. So it is available in Spark SQL function. So whenever you have functions with Spark SQL, you need to use expression. So we have to use expression, and inside that we need to write the SQL, Spark SQL statements. So by using this, for each value, it will print the data type. So since all are string, so it printing string tag. And I'm creating one more column by using date of month. So this is our function day of month, and inside that I'm passing our input column, that is date. And I given alias as day. My column name is day. So now what will happen? From each date value, it will extract the day. So from this particular date value, so this is the day G1. So we are getting 1. And from this date value, so this is the day 29. So it's printing 29. And similar way, from this date value, 31 is the day. So we are getting 31. So now we are extracted the day from string date type column. Next, we'll go for one more scenario using day of month with a date column. So that means now we are applying directly on date column. So this is string date, and this is date column. So how I'm creating date column is by using spark.create data frame. And earlier we passed list of values. So list of values I passed, instead of this as string values I passed. So here what I'm doing, I'm using Python function. First I'm importing datetime module here, and from datetime I have date function. So datetime dot date, and inside that I'm passing my date value. So what will happen? We will get output as date value. So that means date data type will get directly. See here, date data type. So since earlier we given list of tuple, so list of tuple, and inside that we passed as string value. But here by using datetime module, directly I'm creating date values. That means date data type values. So my column name is this one, dt, and I have these many values, date values. So now the syntax is same. So here I'm using df dot select. My sample data frame is this one, df underscore 03. I'm using select, and I'm using star here. So star means from my sample data frame, it will pick all the columns. Since it's only single column is there, instead of star, you can type dt also. Okay, it is fine. So this expression we already discussed. So now earlier we got string type. Since it directly we are getting data type, now our data type is date. And here I'm using day of month on dt. So that means this column. For this value, what is the day? 8. So for all these values, what is the day? 31. Okay, so this is about second scenario. So next one is casting from string to date. So that means suppose I'm generating one string value. So that means first I'm using spark.create data frame like single value, single ID. So that means this is for generating the single row. So that means my column is ID, and I'm passing single value. So that means by using this line of code, we will get only this column, single column. That is column name is ID, that is one. So instead of this, you can do one more thing like spark dot range one. So both are same. So now on top of this data frame, I'm using with column, and my column name is date. And here I'm using first I'm passing the value, string value, by using lit function. So inside lit, I'm passing as string value. So now suppose if I don't use to underscore date. So suppose what I'll do, I will add one more row here. What I'll do without to underscore date, I will do here. Okay, so here I will remove to underscore date, and I will remove one more here. And here instead of date, I will mention string. So if I rerun this one, what will happen here? It one more column will get add. So one is string. So that is a string. And since we passed through lit function, what we are getting through lit, we passed as string value. So this value we are getting, but our data type is string. So for that, what I'm doing, I'm using to underscore date function. So if I use to underscore date function on top of this value, it will convert string data type to date value. Okay, so now my input is ready. So now on top of this sample data frame, I'm using select, and on top of this date column, what I'm using day of month on this date column. So now what will happen? df underscore 01. I will try to update this one. Okay. So in select, since I'm selecting only date column, so we are not getting these two. Okay. So in select date and the day of month. So for this, what is the day of month? 7th. So this is one example, and one more example is on top of sample data frame. What I'm doing, First, I'm printing a day of the week by using day underscore format. See, by using day of month, we got the number. That means day number, we got it. But suppose if you want to know the day name also, then what you can do is you can do with column and column name. We can use a date underscore format function, and we can mention the column name, and here you can mention 4 years. Suppose if you want full name of the day, you can use 4 years, or otherwise say single E or double E, triple E. So it will give you shorter name of the day. Okay, so this is only to show uh, name of the day. Okay, so this is the scenario for how to convert string to date. So next we'll go for other scenario using day of month with a timestamp column. So now how I'm creating timestamp is spark.create data frame, and inside that I'm passing single value. Okay, so here my column name is TS and my timestamp value is this. So if I run only this line of code, what will happen? The column will get create, but data type will be string type. So data type will be string type. So for converting string to timestamp, what I'm using dot with column, and I'm mentioning same column name, and here I'm using to underscore timestamp, and inside that I'm giving ts. So that what will happen? It will convert string to date. So what I will do to show string data type, what I will do ts, and instead of ts, I will give you name. So maybe I'll give here timestamp, timestamp, and this one I'll give here timestamp, and my new column is ts. Now if I run this one, so our initial column is a timestamp, that is string type, and after applying with column, so that is our timestamp column. And if you see the difference, so initially we passed as string value, that is only date and time. So after converting, we are getting first date and between t, and if you see here time, only hour, minute, second is there. So here additionally we are getting millisecond also plus time zone also. Okay, so now my timestamp input column is ready. So on top of this data frame, what I'm doing, select TS. That means this input column I'm selecting here. And on top of that, I'm creating one more column by using day of month on this TS column. And I give an alias as day. So from this, it will pick the day. So in this, what is the day? 17. So it will print you this day value. So this is from timestamp column. And so this is one method. This method is, you can say like, what we can say is, I will mention as A and B. So one is day of month with string timestamp. So day of month with string timestamp. So that means first we are getting string value, then we are converting. And second one is we are directly handling timestamp value. So day of month with your timestamp call. So how we are getting directly timestamp, that we'll see here. Okay, so For directly getting timestamp value, what I'm doing here, I'm using import datetime function, spark.create data frame, datetime. From this datetime module, I'm using datetime. And if you see earlier, I used datetime dot date. For creating date values, I used date function. See here, datetime dot date for creating the date values. Now, for creating timestamp values, I'm using datetime dot datetime. So datetime dot datetime, and inside that I'm passing all these values, date and time values I'm passing here. So here also date and time values, and my column name is TS. So if I run this one, I will get these two values. So if you see earlier, since we passed as a string, so we don't get this t milliseconds, these time zones, you don't get it. Since here we are directly printing timestamp by using this module, we are getting direct timestamp values. Now, on top of this, what I'm doing, df sample data frame dot select, and I given star. So star means here we have only one column, that is TS. So it's selecting TS, and you can, instead of star, you can directly mention TS also. Okay. So first I'm printing data type. So on this column here I'm using type of, and I given alias as type. So that means column name is type by using expression. So now I'm getting timestamp. If you observe in earlier cases, whenever we have string date, we got string type, and whenever we have date type, we got date, and whenever we have timestamp, we are getting type as timestamp. Now on top of that, I'm using day of month function, and inside that I'm passing my input column. So that is this one, and I given alias as month. So now this column will generate, and from this value, what is the day? 8. So that it will print here. From this timestamp, what is the day? 31. So that it will print here. Okay, so next we'll go for other scenario. Suppose I want to filter the data. So that means I want to get all the records from first day of the month. Okay, so we'll see how we can handle this one by using day of month function. My sample data is like this. So here I have different dates I have, and if you see, dates are not on first day of the month. See, we have different dates here, and on different dates we have different orders. And now by using spark.create data frame, I'm passing this data here, and my column names is first is date and the second one is order underscore ID. And to convert these string values to date, here I'm using to underscore date function on this date column by using this one. So since it is already in default format, actually this format is not required. You can omit this one. So this format will define only when you have date values in custom format. So that means other than year, month, date. So if you return also no problem, you can omit also no problem. Okay. So now what I will get, my date values will get date data type. Now what my condition is, I want to filter the records from first day of the month. So for that, what I'm doing, if you see here, this is first is there, third month first date is there, but here 15 is there, here fourth month 20th is there, here first month 10th is there. So different dates are there. First, what I need to do is, here I'm doing based on here on sample data frame, I'm using filter function, and in filter, what I'm doing, day of month of date is equal to 1. So that means first this function, what it does is it will go to each value of date and it will extract the date. So from this 1 it will extract. So day is 1. So if that value is equal to 1, then it will filter here. So here this value we are getting. And next we will come to this value. So by using this function, what is the date here? 15. So 15 is equal to 1? No. So it will ignore this value. Next, it will come to this one. So here day value is 1. So that is equal to 1. So it will filter this value. So we are getting this one. So like this, it will check each and every value and it will filter only when day is equal to 1. So next value will get 7 as 1. So that is third one. And one more is this one, 2, 1. So that is this one. So one more is 23, 1, 1. So that is this one. So out of 10 values, total we have 5 values with month starting date. Okay, so next, uh, how to do group by based on day of the month. So for this, what I'm doing, I think almost similar data set I took and similar functions I used to create data frame and to underscore date to convert the string to date. So our final data set is this one. And on top of this data frame, what I'm doing, this is our sample data frame. So that is this one. On this, I'm using group by. So in group by, what I'm doing, instead of using directly these values, what I'm doing here, I'm using day of month of date and I given alias as a day. So first what it will do, it will extract this day column. So that is this one. First it will create one day column and for each day, see here, 1, 1, 2, 15. So here 1, 1, 1, 1. So first what it do, what I will do is for easy reference, I will add one column here, then we'll discuss this one. So on top of this, here only, I will add one more with column and with column on day on same. Okay, I will give new column that is a day and day of month on this date. And yeah, that's all. And if I rearrange this one, I will try to rerun this one so that it will get added one more column here. That is a day column. So for this value here 1 and here 1 and here 2 and here this is 15 and this is 1 for these two 15 for this 30. So now we have day values. So what this function does is same thing. So this is equal to this one. So now on this column, we are applying group by. What will happen? These two all ones become one group. And if you see these two and this one. And after doing group by, what we need required is count. So I want to just count the records for each group. How many um, how many counts are there? That means how many records are there. And if you see group by using one, so these two and this one, we have total 3. And if you see here, so for day 1, so that is for day 1, we have total 3 records. So that's why we're getting 3 here. And at the same time, if I check for other group, maybe if you go for second, this second, we have only one group. So here it will print 2 and 1. And we'll check for other value. After 2, maybe I'll pick 15. So 15, we have 3 values. So it will show 15 as 3 count. So next remaining is 30. So this 30, we have only 1 count. And I given order by day. So order by day means, so this order, first it will order the day column. So based on that, it will give you the count, respective group count. So this how you can do group by using day of month. So next, how to use conditions by using when and otherwise condition. Some logics how to apply by using this day of the month. So here also similar kind of data set I'm creating. So same set of code, and here what I will do first, here also I will try to add one column, day column. So it will be easy to understand. If I try to rerun this, we'll get added one more column, day column, and respective days will get added here. So on top of this, what I'm doing, this is my sample data frame, that is this. And here I'm adding one more new column, that is month start. So, and inside that I'm giving the condition. So now what is my condition is, one is when condition, one more is otherwise condition. So I had to print yes or no. So if this condition, this when condition satisfies, it will print yes, otherwise it print no. So what is my when condition is, if day of month of day date column is equal to 1, then I have to print yes. So if you see here, how many ones are there? So wherever 1 is there, it will print yes. And for remaining all, it will print no. So here, first one, third one, fifth one. So for these values, it will print yes. So first one, third one, fifth one, it will print yes. For remaining all, it will print no. Okay, so here I printed at the same way we can print here also. You can add that column so that you can compare here itself. So what I'll do, this sample data frame, here I will add same column here. So what I can do is I can copy same thing here. So my column name should be date. Okay, I wrongly copied. I supposed to do this one. Okay, so day of month on date column. If I rerun this one, so this column will get add here, and wherever 1 is there, it will print yes, and for all remaining, it will print no. Okay, so with column, so I will remove here. So why duplication? I will remove here. So let it be sample data frame, and on top of that, it will generate this one. Okay, so here I covered maximum scenarios, how we can use day of month function. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.